of the tummy tuck challenge. These two exercises are my absolute favourites as far as Pilates goes and tummy work. The first one's called 100's, and it is pure Pilates from the man himself back in whenever it was, 1940s say. And then the second one is what I've known this one for a long time, but I think it's going to be Pilates, but I don't know if it's pure Pilates, called the hitch and lift. So I'll explain what they both do and how to do them in as quick a time as possible. So the first one's called 100's. The reason it works so well is because it's not a huge range of movement, but it's what I call brittle arms. We're going to create brittle arms, and you're working against the resistance of that brittle movement, if that makes sense. Well, it will do in a minute. So we're looking at repetitions. It's a little bit like the vibrating plate, you know, where it vibrates many thousands of times and your body's sort of counteracting. I'm not necessarily saying I agree with vibrating plates, but this is similar. It's these small jerky movements creating many more contractions than just, say, a single crunch, and you know my feeling about crunches anyway. So this, you're going into a certain range of movement. I will explain. Oh, it's not easier to do it than try and explain to a camera. So first of all, lie on the floor. I was saying the other day, actually, if you've ever got back problems, just doing this. Tilt the pelvis up, so you're drawing the tailbone away from the floor. Ideally, not for this exercise, but for the description I'm just about to give you, if you've got back problems, place a pillow under your feet. If you're watching Coronation Street ahead, you could stay like that all night, couldn't you? And it's really nice for decompressing the spine. But anyway, that's another story. For now, the 100's looks like this. You're going to press the lower spine into the floor, bring both knees in, put yourself into tabletop position, lift up the head and chest. Again, I'm literally coming from the rain, and we're going to create a small, jerky movement like this. As I said, I call it brittle arms. This little movement here creates micro contractions, if you like, that your tummy muscles are having to resist. My cue when I do this exercise is to keep closing the gap between the lowest rib and the hip bone. So as you're doing this, just shallow breathing, and you're going to do 100, so you might count in blocks of 10, but the whole time you're doing it, I want you to keep the gap, keep zipping up the gap between the lowest rib and the hip bone. So that's the 100's. Don't feel you have to do 100 straight away, build up to that. The other one is a hitch and lift. Now, to demonstrate that, best thing I can do is to show you it standing. You know what I put on the website about the indented V? That's what I mean here. You know when you get rid of the tummy fat, hope you can see an improvement, and hopefully you see like a little indent there. This is what's so good at creating that indent ready for the beach, if you can get your body fat down, it will really show. So with this exercise, imagine that you're shortening the leg into its own socket. So you can see that I'm doing that standing. All we're going to do now, I'll take this off so you can see a bit easier, all we're going to do now is take that down to the floor and do it sideways. But I can give you a few different levels. I've been doing this exercise for years, so some of you will already know it from me. So you lie on your side, extend the underarm. Then lift the top leg, soften the lower leg. The reason you do that is to avoid falling back. Breathe in now. As you breathe out, draw the tummy in. And I should have said that for the 100's as well. Navel to spine. Keep pulling this abdominal wall in. What I call compression. Lift the top leg and lock it into the joint. And what you should feel is this oblique muscle here, almost making a pillar. You should be able to feel this really tightening up. So that is your hitch element, and we're going to keep this leg short throughout this exercise. First level then, I'm hoping my rib doesn't give me any jip today. If I take this hand long, I can literally just push into it. Hopefully you can see the oblique muscles getting tighter. I'm not lifting. So that would be level 1. Level 2, same thing. Compress, lock on, hand high, and then you put the lift in as well. So that's just a little harder. Where people go wrong is they tend to collapse in. You want to keep everything open there. Next level, and we're looking for endurance here, so you would just lift and hold, maybe to start with. Hand in front of the face, and you get a higher lift. What you can do with this, notice I'm keeping the leg hitched on, is little pulses here. which also work the arms quite hard as well. And then what I tend to do at the end of that is I come down but keep the leg locked on, so this oblique has been working all this time. Obviously you wouldn't necessarily do all three. You might start at one level for a few weeks, then come to the next, then maybe put in the lift. You will respond, that's the good news, and I might end up with just a hamstring stretch, something like that, and then over to the other side. I think that's enough for now. I've given you those two exercises which could keep you going for weeks. Mix them into your gym routine. Thank you very much for listening. And stick around because we will be doing another short course soon.